everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a Bentley Continental Speed with the W12. This is an absolutely ridiculous luxury car. So first and foremost, a huge shout out to ArmorMax for providing us with the Bentley Continental. Check out their website in the description below. They do a bunch of crazy armored vehicles. Now this particular one's not armored, but they still do a bunch of crazy stuff, so check them out and let's get right into it. Now, under the hood of the Continental Speed, we have a 6-liter W12 that is twin turbocharged with 600 horsepower and then 553 pound-feet of torque, and then it is paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now let's go over the front end on the Continental Speed. First off, the thing that I think is really cool is the emblem here on the top of the hood. Just seeing the Bentley wings and all that just looks really cool, super distinctive. The next distinctive part is actually the lights. So they kind of look like crystal glasses that have been put into the car. They just have so much intricacy put into them. So if you can see them up really close, just how cool the lights actually look. But they've kind of rounded everything off on the front end in general, and even though this car is from 2008, you still get parking sensors like most modern cars have, and the lights are super bright. So it's like it has like all of the normal modern car stuff, even though it's over 10 years old now. Now around the side here, we've got 275mm tires on 21-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. That's right, 21-inch wheels, which they actually look really good with the overall profile of the car. They're not like over proportioned or anything like that. I like the chrome strip down the middle, just kind of breaks things up a little bit on the side there as well. But the overall side profile just has this really long, elegant look to it. And again, it's very distinctive to the Bentley brand. Here is the key fob on the Bentley, and again, if you want to show anyone that you're a baller, you just show the B on the back of your key, and that's how it works. But yes, it has a flip out key, so does a Bugatti. So yeah, just saying right there on that. But the rest of the functions on it, pretty straightforward. You've got the unlock, the lock, and then the release for the trunk, which you just have to hold that down, and that's what will open it up. And look at that. Even though the car's from 2008, it automatically pops open. Now the other cool thing about the rear, it's just a regular trunk, so there's nothing too crazy about that, is the fact that you press this and then it lowers it back down for you. So fully automated, super luxury. That's just awesome in my opinion. And the next really cool thing is here with the rear. So you can see the gas cap there on the side and just the widened hips here in the back of the car. Now the really cool thing has to pertain to the lights. So you can see you've got ovals there with the lights and then with the exhaust. So you can see it's like a series of like double ovals all the way through, which I think is really neat. It's a really cool aesthetic on the car overall, and it's everything for the back. So it does have keyless entry, so you just have to slip your hand in there and then it'll unlock the car. That little button is to lock it. Now opening it up, this door panel is actually really heavy, and if you're wondering why it's so heavy, you just have to take a closer look at it. So you can see on the door panel itself, you have this beautiful leather all over the entire door panel here. I mean, the whole thing is completely wrapped in super nice materials. You can see my reflection right there, but just look at all of the leather, even down here at the bottom. Again, it's all finished in leather, really, really nice to look at, and then obviously nice to touch. Now coming here into the rear, you actually press this button at the top of the seat, and that's what moves the seat here forward, and then you just do that little latch to move that part forward, and that's what actually gives you access to the rear. And look at the back seats here, just look at the design on the leather itself, and in terms of the feel of it, feels very, very nice to the touch. And then we're actually going to pop in, which it is a two-door, but we can pop in. So just got to duck quite a bit, and we're actually inside of here, which it's really comfortable back here. Now it is a little bit cramped, but you can see you've got these cool vents here, this little like storage area, and you can press this little thing right here, pull down this wood tray, and it gives you actually like an armrest here in the back. And notice, even back here, they use nice materials. They have that little leather right there. Like everything is wrapped in leather pretty much here in the back, or it's wood trim. And you're probably not gonna have back passengers because again, you can see that there's not a whole lot of legroom back here, but they still try to like leave everything to be nice so that every touch point you have here in the rear is gonna be nice. And you can get your own little window thing because you got the little window right there, which is pretty interesting. But It's cool here in the back. Now looking at the front, you can see you've got the Bentley logo on the front seat, and again, really nice materials here on the front. The bolsters are actually really big, but all of the leather very nice to the touch. And even down here, again, they just try to like match everything color wise, and they try to use nice materials for everything. You can see you've got all the controls right there on the side, and then look how nice those pedals are. Again, really nice to look at. And then you can see this is just something to do the lights, but they make sure that it feels really nice to the touch. And then you can see over here on the back of the steering wheel, there's little like paddles right here, which they don't move with the steering wheel. They're actually column mounted, which is pretty interesting. But there's one more look before we pop in. Now to start her up, all you have to do is just push the push start and everything will come to life. There's that little keyhole on the side there if the startup doesn't work. But man, it does sound good with that W12. Now here is the steering wheel in the Bentley. You can see you've actually got voice commands and phone controls here on this. Remember, this is from 2008. And then you've got the wood around the steering wheel, and you've got like the nice little leather touches on the steering wheel as well. And again, there's a look at those paddles that are mounted on the column. Pretty cool. That's kind of like Ferrari level with what they do, because they mount the paddles there too. Looking at the gauges here, you can see these actually look pretty close to a lot of modern gauges that are in newer cars. And so I think that's definitely a really cool touch on the Bentley. I love how they do the RPMs with the 60 instead of a 6, it's times 100 instead of times 1000. Now here with the center screen, nothing too crazy. It is a little bit dated, but the cool thing is the backup camera on this. So remember, this is from 2008. Sorry, the screen does not want to let my camera focus on it, but you can see a resolution on it. It's okay, but you still get a backup camera, you still get the parking sensors. So it makes the car easier to park, and it's just cool. Like, think about back in 2008, this would have been like the coolest thing ever. And sorry about the focus. Like, seriously, I'm trying so hard and the camera just doesn't want to focus on the screen. Now down below, you can see you've got the controls for the climate system. It is a dual zone climate system in the Bentley. I mean, what else would you expect from a luxury mobile? There's actually some storage under there. Here's the shifter, which feels really nice. You press on the Bentley B, and it's pretty simple. You just pull it down, and then you can manually shift the gears yourself right over there. You actually do get an electronic parking brake, which is pretty cool with this. And then down here, you can see that you do get air-conditioned seats with it, or heated seats. You can use either or. And I've got the AC seats on right now because, well, it's pretty hot today. You guys remember the stop-start button. And then look at the armrest thing here, which is also pretty neat as well. And then coming over here, you guys can see like the glove box area, just how cool all of that looks. And again, leather on all of it. And look at the dash, just like the attention to detail over all of the dash here, really nice. Feels really nice to the touch, looks really nice as well. So like, you just get this really nice luxury car feel. Now coming up to the top, the whole headliner is leather, and even the grab handles. Like, it's really cool just like seeing all of the perforated leather here, and even the middle, like super luxury in this car. And other than that, you can see that you got like the garage door openers, and they even did this in leather. Like, everything you touch is nice in this car. Everything you touch, end of story. Well, now that we're done going over the interior on the Continental, let's kind of quickly talk about this car in general. So pricing on this car is kind of all over the place from what I saw before making this video. So you guys probably just want to look it up yourself so you can see like the different ranges, because yeah, it's just kind of weird on that. But the cool thing about this particular one is it's from 2008 and it's only got 30,000 miles on it. So super low mileage for the year, in my opinion. And also, I forgot to mention, these little things right here feel so nice. There's another one over to the other side. These are to adjust the vents to basically open or close them, and it's just so satisfying to do. But let's take her out and see how she drives. Quickly talk about visibility here in the Bentley. So visibility over the hood is actually really good, and then through both of the mirrors it's really solid as well. And then all throughout the rear on top of that, visibility is really good. So in general, it's actually pretty easy to see out of this. So like, as a daily driver, super solid. We are initially setting off here in the Bentley Continental, and the first thing that I noticed about this car is just how easy it is to drive. Like, it's intimidating because it's a Bentley, right? It's scary driving a car this expensive and with the brand that this is. However, when you actually get down to driving it, it's really easy to drive. It's really comfortable. It doesn't feel massive. It actually feels relatively small when you drive it around. And with the driving, it is so incredibly smooth. Like, it is smoother than anything I've actually ever driven. You really don't feel anything. Like, I can go over this little manhole here. It doesn't really do anything to the car. It's like a whole new scope of luxury for me personally. And the other thing is the noise. You hear everything happening inside the cabin, but everything happening outside the cabin, it's not really a thing. It's kind of like you're in your own little bubble, which is definitely way different than what I'm used to with driving a vehicle. And so again, just from like a luxury perspective, this car just absolutely nails it. And we're gonna get, this is automatic mode, we're gonna get a little acceleration here with that 600 horsepower. So what it does is it has kind of like with the pedal where you initially go on and it just will ride on a little bit of a wave of torque, and then it just hits you. It goes into the turbos and it's just like it goes into a whole new mode, and it is quick. It is rightfully quick. What we'll do now is put it over into the manual mode, and we'll see how it performs with that. I'm intrigued to see how fast this is. This is going to be interesting just to see how quick this car actually is, because you guys can imagine 600 horsepower is about the same amount as what my Camaro had, but this is kind of like a larger size car, so it's going to be a little bit different, but we'll see how she goes right here. It is rightfully quick, and the brakes on it as well work really well. So even though it's a much larger size car, it has really good stopping power too. But I don't know how to describe this. Like, the power just feels like unlimited. When you press it, it feels like you're getting hit with a freight train. Like, it just moves. Like, it has this, it just has this super, super powerful feeling. It's unlike any other engine that I have driven to date. I really don't have anything to compare this to just from an acceleration standpoint. And so what I would say, like, just to sum things up overall with the Continental, is if you're looking for a crazy fast luxury car that is really easy to daily drive and still has a ton of like modern luxury amenities, right? It's got the air conditioned seats, it has a backup camera, parking sensors, all that stuff, and you want something that has a cooler brand name and all that, then this is where this car really shines. And you also pretty much get Hellcat power. I'm sure there's some tunes out there for this car where you could get it up to over 700 horsepower, but I don't really feel like it needs it. It is just crazy. Now for the last part of this video, we're gonna do an acceleration from a standstill with it, and we'll just see how that goes. Oh, once it gets in, it keeps pulling. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy how fast it is. Again, it takes a second to get into the turbos, but once it gets into it, it's just power on top of power, and yeah, that is crazy how fast that feels. But that is going to sum things up for our video on the Bentley Continental Speed. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to ArmorMax for providing us with the vehicle. Check out their website in the description below. I will see all of you guys in the next video.